The latest sci-fi horror in 2025, The Alien Earth, is on the line. The story takes place in the first 2 years of the 2120s, and the movie is The Alien. Machino, the space research ship of Welland Company, has been sailing for 65 years. Finally, in the darkest corner of the universe, it has collected 5 kinds of alien biological samples. However, on the way back, Machino had an accident. The crew was awakened at the appointed time. After waking up, the crew began to recover. At the dinner party, everyone talked about several big companies. At this time, the Earth has entered the enterprise era. There are 5 giant companies. The social class is divided into humans. The reformers and the synthesizers form a monopoly ecology that is fully committed to technology, especially the founder of the Genius Group, Xiao Chang. At a young age, he founded the world's largest AI company. As an employee of Welland Company, the crew members are even worried that one day they will be swallowed up by the Genius Group. Speaking of this mission, Captain Black said that the collection of samples is extremely important, so it must be strictly monitored. Just because Black is a synthesizer, many crew members did not buy what he said. However, as cattle and horses, they only want to complete the task as soon as possible. The samples collected this time are all very dangerous species. Among them is the explosive face worm that spreads the epidemic. As the voyage progresses, the crew members enter the winter sleep again. At the same time, on the dream island of the Earth, Xiao Chang, the founder of the Genius Group, led a technological revolution. By creating the 4th type of synthesizer, known as a composite body of frozen children, realizing the eternal life of consciousness, the 12-year-old girl Xiao Di, who has a terminal illness, was selected by the Genius Company. The reason for choosing her is that Xiao Di has a special sense of biology. Subsequent composite body tests also have advantages. As the first person in the project experiment, Xiao Di will open a new future for the Genius Group. After the doctor's confirmation again and again, Xiao Di still lay on the operating table. Then the transplant system began to operate. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Di's consciousness was implanted into adult women and adults. She also became the first composite body. The success of the Genius Company in the field of AI also made it the biggest threat to the Welland Company. After giving up her weak body, Xiao Di has a brand new life. 100 meters high cliff, Xiao Di came to the ground after a month. A composite body, no matter its strength or speed, can't be compared with the human body. Although she has a strong body, Xiao Di has lost the fun of being human. Her emotions are stable, and there is no performance of adolescence. In order to simulate these human experiences, the doctor needs to make adjustments in some aspect. Xiao Di is even confused. If she is not human, what is she? If I'm not human, what am I? In order to improve the composite body, more children will join the experiment. In order to help children overcome their inner fears, Xiao Di has given them psychological counseling. The healthy body and the toughness of the composite body make children's hearts beat fast. Soon, they became the second batch of transplanted composite bodies. Everyone has an adult body, but their thoughts are all about children. Back to the Machino spacecraft. During the flight, the spacecraft suddenly broke down. The navigation failed, and the sample sealing device failed at the same time. All biological samples have escaped. Lao He reported the situation to the headquarters at once. At this time, a crew member escaped here. In the face of the crew member's help, Lao He chose to disappear, and he even took out the electric welding from his hand and directly welded the control room door. Not long after, the hunting group chased them to the door, and the crew members had nowhere to escape and were soon torn to pieces by the group. After learning that the biological sample had been leaked, the Welland Company, to keep the sample, sent a command to Lao He that the spacecraft must be brought to Earth so that the biological sample could be recovered later. After receiving the command, Lao He immediately changed course and rushed to Earth. At this time, the first batch began to break down, and the monster was about to break in. Lao He hurriedly hid in the escape pod, and as soon as he was a step late, the first batch's claws could catch him. Fortunately, the pod door was closed in time so that he could avoid the monster's hunting. The out-of-control spacecraft crashed into Earth, and the space station above the Earth was also badly hit. The fragments were flying around in space. For Earth, a terrible biological crisis was coming. Xiao Di also has a brother, Chang. In addition to the boring tests daily, he likes to remember the good times with his brother through video. In order to live, Chang became a medical soldier. On this day, the members came to the rooftop to train as usual. At this time, a flying ship appeared in the sky. At first, no one cared until the flying ship crashed into the building nearby. They only realized that the flying ship had lost control. Not long after, Machino had crashed into the ground, directly hit the headquarters building of Tiankai Group. After the incident, the security team quickly began to gather and hurriedly rushed to the scene. According to the process, they needed to find survivors and evacuate the casualties, and then quickly block the scene. When they arrived at the scene, it was like the end of the world. The casualties were countless, and there was howling and screaming everywhere. The flying ship crashed into the building, and the pieces of the building kept falling. Suddenly, the team where Chang was entered the building to search for help. Unknowingly, waiting for them, in addition to the terrible plague, there were other terrible creatures. The building was flooded with smoke, and people kept calling for help. Not long after, the team found the body of the ship in the building. Chang followed a few people from the damaged place to the flying ship. The team members deduced that this might be a research ship, and maybe they could find something valuable. At this time, the old man escaped through the window. When they came to the lobby, the crew members had already been killed by the monster. Because of the crash, there was a crowd around. Through monitoring, the old man noticed the search and rescue team boarding the ship. He immediately reported the situation to the headquarters of Willand, and went to the arsenal to try to block it. At the same time, the crash caught Xiaodi's attention, and her brother was participating in the rescue operation. The swaying building made Xiaodi worried. The high-ranking officer was reporting the situation to Chang. He suddenly broke off the conversation between the two and said that he could participate in the search and rescue. They are a mixed body, stronger and faster than ordinary people. The instructor explained the reason. Because her ex-brother was in the tower, Xiaoqiang instantly understood that Xiaodi wanted to help her brother. At this moment, Xiaodi's human emotion fascinated Xiaoqiang. Xiaodi said that she was a human. I am human. This made Xiaoqiang have a bold idea. In order to monitor the emotional changes of Xiaodi and others, Xiaoqiang agreed to Xiaodi's request. In order to make sure that nothing is lost, the instructor will go with her to ensure the safety of the prototype. After making the necessary preparations, soon Xiaodi's mixed body team rushed to the scene. At this time, the search and rescue team found the sample warehouse in the spaceship. All the samples of dangerous creatures are stored here. The creatures they saw in front of them surprised them. There was also a corpse lying on the ground. According to the examination, the victim's head and body were shot. A spider-like reptile fell on the team members. As soon as the man noticed it, the movement on the side attracted their attention. The impact made the sealed jar extremely dangerous. When they found that the situation was wrong, they immediately prepared to leave. But as soon as they walked out the door, the old man controlled them with a weapon. Under the threat of death, the two returned to the lab. After the old man tied them up, he reported the sample to the headquarters. On the other hand, they found a lot of corpses in the warehouse, and every corpse was forced to be killed. It can be seen that these corpses have caused a lot of epidemic. However, Chang did not realize the potential danger. According to the traces left on the scene, they found that something had crawled out of the corpse. Just when they were looking for it, the two team members were struggling in pain, because the reptile just crawled out quietly. The man's neck was just bitten. In the next second, the reptile sucked up his blood. The corpse's body is like a ball. Another reptile quickly appeared. It can be seen that the team members next to him were also in bad luck. The collapse of the building caused the spaceship to shake violently. Chang may be buried at any time. These scenarios that can be seen make Xiaodi very worried. She desperately hopes to get to the scene as soon as possible. But Xiaodi didn't know that they would encounter a terrible epidemic as a key puzzle in the history of epidemic. The incident in 2020 explained why the company insisted on obtaining the motive blank of the epidemic. In the drama, Xiaodi may become the prototype of the heroine of the Enterprise era. Her combat training and emotional contradictions blended the firmness of Ripley and the pureness of Newt. The first invasion of the Earth in the epidemic is in the double kill of greed and survival. It was the human who knocked on the bell. In addition to the appearance of the epidemic, the film also gave a lens to other creatures. Everyone is familiar with the reptiles and the epidemic. Spider-like reptiles have many eyes. They all carry the fear of death. There are many impressive and exciting scenes in the drama. In the drama, the atmosphere of tension and excitement is full. On the Machino ship, a female crew member ran away desperately in a dark passageway. The classic scene of the hunting of the epidemic reappears. At this time, the captain of the crew, Lao He, who is a synthesizer, entered in front of the computer in a cold and mysterious way. The death of the whole crew was unheard of for the rescue of the crew. This coldness and ruthlessness, and the terror of the epidemic outside the ship formed a strong and cold echo. After a meal, the body was swollen like a balloon. It was scary. As a loyal fan of the epidemic, the director used many scenes to pay tribute to the story of the epidemic, and the retro computer of the control center to continue the story framework of the epidemic. In addition to the epidemic, more terrible extraterrestrials will appear one by one. As for what they will be, What kind of lethal force they have, we will continue to reveal in the next issue. Thank you for watching.